Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named BananaSav in the relationship advice subreddit. The post is titled, "My husband and I are having a BBI. Is me asking for more than a week too much? I am 15 weeks along. My husband and I have just started talking about all of the appointments and schedules going on until the end of the year. We found out I would not be getting paid maternity leave, but he would be getting paid paternity leave for up to 4 weeks. I've already started saving up for when I will be out of work for 3 weeks after the baby, and I didn't really think it would be a problem for him to help me out for 3 weeks while I healed, then let me readjust for a week while I try to transition back to work. His response was that he would be happy to take a week off, but if he needed to, he could take 2. His reason was that 2 weeks was $2,000 that he would already be missing out on, and I didn't feel comfortable losing anymore. A few key details before I get into the juicy part. We've been together for 5 years and just got married on May 4th. Yes, we had issues before the baby, and no, the baby was not planned. I have pre-existing health issues on top of being diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidarum that has sent me to the ER 4 times already. He does new construction plumbing, so he's paid per project, but if he were to be working at the shop on a rainy day or low inventory, then he makes $15 an hour. We already have 3 ginormous dogs that I take care of 80% of the time, on top of all vet visits and grooming. I feel these are important tidbits so that you can better understand where I'm coming from. All I could do in response was sit there and cry. It hit me that I would honestly be doing this alone. I had already come to terms with the fact that once he went back to work, I wouldn't get much help from him since he does manual labor and is already exhausted without having a baby around. I told him that at this point, I'd rather he just take the day off for the birth and I'd handle the rest. I explained that a week was hardly anything, and if I was expected to be okay with just that, then I'd rather take nothing. I've already been looking around on care.com and Rover to find someone to help with the baby and the dogs. I don't have anyone else but him since both of our parents work and we don't have any other family near us. I now feel selfish because he got upset by what I said and said, the baby isn't even here yet and I already feel like a deadbeat. I can't find anything online that says whether a week is enough or not, and now I feel horrible because I can't get past the emotional part of this situation. Someone tell me I'm wrong or something because I don't really know what to think anymore. And a few things I feel like I need to point out since some of you are a bit on the cranky side. Yes, we use protection, hence surprise baby. I live in Florida, maternity leave is not mandatory for employers. I could have done FMLA, but because I don't use my employer's insurance, it's not offered to me, nor have I paid into it to use it. My main reason for this post was to get a viewpoint from all sides on this matter. It's our first child, and we had already discussed having children later in life. I never planned to get pregnant. I promised the baby and I are being monitored by my OB and my cardiologist. Update. I got a lot of questions and comments about having an abortion, and truthfully, it's not for me. I have nothing against abortions. I had already grown an attachment to my baby. I showed my husband the post and comments. It was truly eye-opening for us both. We had some really hard conversations and some of the most groundbreaking talks. We both ended up in therapy and couples therapy. We still have a long way to go, but I feel like I'm living in a dream now. My job ended up paying for 6 weeks of maternity leave. My husband took 2 weeks off, and his job gave him a baby bonus on top of the end of year bonus. They were absolutely incredible during the journey. My pregnancy was absolutely horrible. My morning sickness sent me to the hospital 7 times. I had 2 IVs weekly, anemia, and PUPS. I ended up on bed rest in October and had her in November. She had a few complications that we faced, and we ended up at a high-risk doctor, but the stars aligned and all of her issues were resolved by the time she was born. I labored for 36 hours and ended up having a C-section due to her heart rate dropping. Out of everything, that was the moment I was terrified. My C-section was absolutely traumatizing. I remember there were doctors everywhere asking me questions and asking if I was feeling anything. Every few minutes after they had given me numbing through my epidural, I kept getting my feeling back. It was horrible feeling them cut and pull and the burning pain. I swear, as soon as they pulled her out and she started screaming, it was the most peaceful I'd ever felt. The first 2 weeks with her were everything I had hoped and dreamed. My husband was incredible and took care of everything. I had never felt so loved in my entire life. He helped me do everything and was amazing at night watch. We are now officially 7 months in, and I swear life couldn't be better. I still work from home and she's with me while I work. She's incredibly smart and we have a great routine together. She has 4 teeth, she's standing on her own and crawling. We are so close to saying mama. I never knew I could love someone as much as I do her, and I'm grateful that she's mine. I think regardless, I'd still have made the same decision to keep her. I know it would have been harder and a lot scarier. I've hated my life for as long as I can remember for one reason or another, but now I feel like I have an actual purpose, and she came at the most perfect time. I realize that not all stories are the same, and I hope that I don't seem insensitive, but I figured an update is an update, good or bad. If you ended up reading this, which I doubt anyone will, thank you for the time, it means the world to me. Similar Shame said, every time I read a health or pregnancy story from the USA, it makes me so thankful that in my country we have mandatory maternity and paternity leave, affordable healthcare, and none of this "we're going to raise the newborn alone" thing. To this soft brush said, every time I read pregnancy stories like this or remember my wife's pregnancy, I wonder how humankind survived for so long. Giving birth is such a big gamble for a woman. So many things can go wrong at any point, and the whole body goes haywire for a year. That's not even mentioning the challenges of infant and toddler parenting and physical recovery if anything went really wrong. It boggles my mind. Rebecca Ster said, that is such a turnaround from the husband that it feels like a wishful thinking update about what they wish had happened. To this senior twat said, it barely feels like a turnaround to me, honestly. He wanted to take off only 2 weeks, and in the end, he only took 2 weeks. This second post was made in the same subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "My younger sister's close friend has been chasing me for months. We finally hooked up tonight and she is acting off after. My sister has her friends over all the time and they are always throwing their friend parties here because we have a big backyard and her friends like our family. One of her friends, Katie, has a crush on me. She's made it obvious and told my sister about it. She has flirted with me in the past, but I stopped myself from letting it become anything. The last time, before I saw her, she came to my bedroom in the middle of the night, around 2 a.m. when my sister was asleep, asking to use my bathroom. I told her there was one in the hallway, but ultimately just let her in. She tried sleeping with me that time, but I didn't do it. A couple of days ago, we had another party for my sister's birthday, and a similar thing happened. I talked with my sister beforehand, and she said she didn't care as long as I wasn't playing with her feelings and as long as it didn't cause us problems. So this last time, she kept giving me that look like she wanted to be with me, and I finally approached her and talked to her. We had some drinks together, but we weren't drunk, and she asked me to dance with her. When we were all going to sleep, I invited her to come relax in my bedroom, and she got excited, so we went back to my room. We ended up having sex for a long while and went at it non-stop. I know the sex was good because I got her off a couple of times and she definitely enjoyed herself. I tried my best to make sure I satisfied her first. I had a lot of fun either way and she slept on top of me. The next day, she was with my sister when I woke up, and she seems to be shy around me now. She's acting different and not as confident as she used to. How do I fix this? I really don't know what caused her to act like this. Update. A couple of things have happened since then. I ended up texting her and she replied instantly. I asked if we could see each other to talk and she agreed. She asked if I only wanted to be friends with benefits with her or if I was willing to give her a chance. I told her I actually enjoyed spending time with her and that I would like to keep seeing her more seriously. She told me she was acting shy because she had not been with a guy who got her off like that before and was embarrassed about how she reacted. I told her it was okay and that I enjoyed my time with her. I officially asked her on a date, and last night we went out to dinner and bowling afterwards. It felt so good seeing her happy, and she said I shouldn't have waited so long to actually give her a chance. We just have one other thing I need advice on. My sister doesn't know we went out, and she still has no clue about us being a couple now. How can I bring this up with my sister? I really don't know how she will react, and I really do like her friend, my now girlfriend. MF Zilla said, divorce her, go no contact, run, Just kidding, this is sweet and adorable, and I hope that everyone is happy. It's the kind of story we need from time to time, nothing earth-shattering, just two people finding they like one another and giving each other a chance to be honest and vulnerable, with the extra bonus of lots of orgasms. Dr. Spider said the early 20s. When you have thoughts like, oh no, did I enjoy myself too much and make it weird? You couldn't pay me to relive 21. To this apprehensive Till said, can we have 21-year-old bodies with 40-year-old brains, please? I want the ability to stay up late drinking and then get up early in the morning and be fine with a hearty breakfast, but with the wisdom to know I should keep the drinking light and the breakfast healthy. This third post was made in the relationship advice by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "My fiancée was accused by her friend and maid of honor for stepping out on me. My fiancée claims she's trying to sabotage our relationship. I'm lost and questioning everything. My relationship with my fiancée has kind of blown up. I have never felt this unsure in our relationship. I'm in need of outside perspectives. For context, we're college sweethearts. During orientation, I was touring campus and she was my group's tour guide. That's how we met. She's my first love and best friend. Now we're in the height of wedding planning. About 2 years ago, we had a rough patch with her shutting down and pushing me away. She wanted to take a break so she could find herself again. I don't believe in breaks. I wanted to work through it together, but her mind was made up, so I agreed. We established boundaries for the break. We wouldn't see other people, and we were to have check-ins about where we were emotionally. The goal was to reinforce our foundation. The break lasted only a month. We bounced back stronger, but it's still a sore spot. The break was the most distant we'd ever been, and the experience highlighted why I'm against it. Recently, my fiancé had a bad falling out with a mutual friend and maid of honor, who I'll call Joss for clarity. Some nasty things were said, and Joss accused my fiancé of being a bridezilla and an even worse friend. I hoped the rift between them would mend because they were close for a long time. They were like sisters, but my fiancé kicked Joss out of the wedding and uninvited her. The damage seemed to be done for both. The other day, Joss reached out to me and said that my fiancé wasn't being completely truthful. She revealed that not only did my fiancé see other guys during the break, but she also hooked up with someone on their annual girls' trip. She gave the guy's name, but I don't know who he is. On the trip, my fiancé's group linked up with another group they clicked with. Joss said it was clear the guy had an eye for my fiancé, and eventually she and he began wandering off. My fiancé ignored Joss's attempts to talk her down. It was a lot to take in. My initial instinct was to shut Joss down. Up until this point, I trusted my fiancé fully, but I couldn't overlook how much Joss's account matched my doubts from back then. Like I said, we were the most distant during our break. It wasn't on my part. There were times she was AWOL on our check-ins. During the girls' trip that fell on our break, she went radio silent in a way she hadn't on previous trips. There was truth to linking up with another group because my fiancé told me about it. She's still casually in touch with some of them. Right after the trip, she was gung-ho on calling the break off, saying it was a mistake and that she was in a better headspace. Joss claimed this was part of their falling out. She was pushing my fiancé to come clean with me before the wedding. She felt I deserved to know and wished she'd said something sooner. I didn't say much. I was too numb to really feel anything. I initially didn't confront my fiancé. I was trying to process, but she could tell something was wrong and kept asking. When I did confront her, she was a whirlwind of emotions. She mostly ranted about Joss, but I told her this was her chance to tell her own story. She asked if I'd hear her out. I promised I would. She confessed to seeing other guys during the break, but claims that nothing happened. She also denies ever hooking up with anyone on the trip. I asked her why Joss would tell the truth about her seeing other guys, which alone thoroughly broke our boundaries, but make up an elaborate lie about her cheating on the trip. She insists Joss is trying to sabotage our relationship. She said the other guys meant nothing and that I'm the one she was in love with. It was like she wanted me to be grateful for choosing me. She promised to do anything to regain my trust. She said we're starting our lives together and I shouldn't let Joss come between us. I wasn't very receptive to her. We fought and I told her I needed to think. Ever since, she's been pouring on so much affection. She still swears she never hooked up with anyone on the girls' trip and that Joss is trying to sabotage us. But I can't shake the possibility that Joss is telling the truth. All of this has blown up while we're in the middle of wedding planning. Invitations are already delivered, the venue is booked, catering is being arranged, suits, dresses, everything. I feel so numb. I'm in love with my fiance. She's my best friend. It feels wrong to doubt her, but I'm questioning everything, even myself. I don't know what to believe anymore. I feel like an idiot. How do I move forward for myself and my relationship? Update. Thank you to everyone who reached out. It helped give me much needed perspective. I wanted to give an update. I wanted a fuller picture before making any decisions about my fiance. I knew her friends and bridesmaids would be a lost cause. I get along with them, but they're more her friends, and their group runs deep. They weren't going to talk at the expense of my fiance. I asked Joss for more information and evidence regarding her claims that my fiance hooked up with someone on their girls' trip. She said my fiance avoided talking about that particular trip, especially over text. Most of their arguments were in person, but she showed me texts from shortly after the trip where my fiance confirmed hooking up with the guy. She texted that it's in her rearview mirror and that she doesn't need a lecture about the past. She's focusing on the future. I knew the possibility, and my fiance already confessed to seeing other guys during our break, but seeing those texts made it real in a way it wasn't before. In the text, she expressed regret, but it didn't make me feel better. I confronted my fiance, and I knew immediately by the look on her face. She came clean on everything. She thought Joss had deleted the texts. Around the break, we were having serious talks about marriage. She started worrying she was missing out on things her single friends were engaging in. During the break, she sought validation from other guys and fooled around with that guy on the girls' trip. In her own words, she had a temporary high when he chased her, but felt worse about herself afterward. She claims the break showed her what was important and that she wasn't missing out on anything. She was reassured we were right for each other. I hardly said anything to her. I mostly just listened. I was too numb for much else. She kept asking me to say something, but what was there for me to say? I felt her actions spoke enough for us both. She kept apologizing for stepping out. When I asked why she wasn't upfront with me, she said she didn't want to lose me over her biggest mistake. Her position that Joss isn't being noble hasn't changed. I told her Joss's motive doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. She asked if I could find it in myself to move past this. She said she loves me and is fully committed. I couldn't tell her what she wanted. I said it was best the wedding be put off and I needed space to sort my feelings. She was against postponing and proclaimed this didn't have to define us and that she's still the same woman I wanted to marry. She asked me not to give up on us, but the same way her mind was made about the break, mine was made on postponing. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't so much a fight, more putting everything out there. She cried a lot. She rarely cries. It felt wrong to leave her crying. My first instinct was to comfort her, but I was too broken to fake it. I have been hurt before, but she hurt me in a way only she could. I know postponing the wedding is for the best. The reason I didn't call it off entirely is because I'm way too much in my emotions right now. Hurt, anger, sadness, and somehow numbness. Whenever possible, I try to avoid making decisions lost in emotion. I need to clear my head. I was so sure of my course and our relationship. My fiance was my partner in every sense. She was who I wanted to make a life with. Sometimes she'd act so superior about our relationship compared to those of her friends. I feel so stupid. She says she's still the same person I love, but the fact is she had a secret life I knew nothing about. I'm trying my best to understand that, but I'm at a complete loss. I'm not sure if I can move past this. All the guests have been informed of the postponement. Some questioned why, but I've been vague. I'm just too embarrassed. I feel bad for the guests too. Some with limited means already booked flights and hotels and took time off work for our wedding. That's how far we were in the home stretch. In some ways, it doesn't feel like my life. We were just together, wedding planning and discussing the honeymoon. The honeymoon was a surprise destination for her, someplace she's always wanted to visit. Now we're here. I don't know where to go or what the future holds. Castle Impenetrable said, I think it's safe to say OP won't be getting married to his fiance. The trust sounds shattered here. She had multiple opportunities to come clean and didn't take them. This kind of thing is why I'm not really a fan of breaks. Instead of actually working on a relationship, you end up distant, and it's easy for validation or crushes to fill that void. Space can be good for a relationship, but in a situation like OP's, it just made the issue worse. To this time, Weeknd said she didn't come clean because she fully intended to have her cake and eat it too, right from the start. She never had any intention of honoring the terms of her break. She wanted to play the field. That's what it was about. If she had met someone she liked on the trip, she would have dumped OP on the spot. F CK3D said, "The moment I saw the words 'find myself,' I knew she was going to cheat. It's like there's a cheater's playbook in some underground bookstore that only cheaters can access. There's always a cognitive dissonance between what they say and what they do." Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.